Hey everybody, Andrew here from Pacific Coast Auto, taking a look at the results of last week's auction picks. Up first, the old Volkswagen wagon. This one sold and it went for a little bit under Derek's guess. Somebody picked that one up for $7,340. As low as Derek's guess was for the 8.6, it was still higher than anybody else was willing to pay. This one only got bid up to $1,940 and it went unsold. The VW Golf R32 came in just under Derek's guess. Somebody picked that up for $5,210. Derek's guess on the Mazda Rx-7 Type R was almost spot on even though the car didn't sell. It was bid up to just $50 under his guess, going unsold at $20,860. He was also really close on the BMW M3, but that one also didn't sell. The bidding on that went up to $40,450. The Bayside Blues Stagea RS4 was another one of those pesky removed cars. It got bid up to $2,800 and then got pulled. There wasn't much interest in the Volkswagen Golf GTD. That one was unsold and only got bid up to $1,120. The Nissan Mistral went for exactly double Derek's guess. Somebody took that home for $1,280. The Mitsubishi Airtrek Turbo R also got picked up, and that one for just $550. While there was some interest in the Mercedes, there wasn't enough for the seller to let it go. That one got bid up to $5,950 and went unsold. That's going to do it for last week's picks. Now here's Derek with this week's.
Hey everyone, it's Derek here to run you through the auction picks from this upcoming week. These are auctions from, actually two of them are from today, even though we usually don't put vehicles from today because we know the results. But this time these vehicles haven't gone through auction yet, and so we don't know the results yet, and so I can still guess my picks. And so what we're going to do is show you 10 of the cars coming up from auction today, tomorrow, and the next day. I'm going to tell you a little bit about these cars and then tell you how much I think that they are going to sell for. All these cars are in auction in Japan. You can bid on these if you want to import them to your country, because that's basically what we do, is we buy cars from auction and then send them to you in whatever country that you're in. Make sure that you know the rules for your country though, otherwise you might get a car that is not importable, and that would be super sad. But for the most part, we would be able to help you out with that if you have any questions. And you can pick these picks. These aren't picked from us, they're picked from you guys, our watchers, through our Facebook page. So facebook.com/Pacific Coast Auto. Okay, so for the first one here is the thumbnail, and this is the coolest one, I thought. This one I threw in here despite the fact that this is a car that's going through auction today. We don't have the result in there yet. See, it's 12:19 on here, and then the actual time is 12:02. And so we have a few more minutes. Unfortunately, you won't be able to bid on this one. It is a 260 RS Stagea with the GTR front end swap. And so that's the R34 Gtr. Everybody knows what that looks like. But this front end looks really good on the Stagea, and so there's an aftermarket company that makes a conversion kit for that. Contrary to what some people think, you can't actually put the GTR front end onto the Stagea, even though they both are a 34 series in chassis. And so it is a similar chassis to the GTR, it's not exactly the same. But the 260 RS has the Skyline GTR's engine in it, and 5-speed manual transmission. It's basically an R33 GTR in a station wagon body, complete with the same 4-wheel drive system and everything. So it is a cool car. These Stageas are gaining in price like crazy. They're coming up closer to Skyline levels because you basically get 9/10 of a Skyline's performance with more space in it and quite a bit more uniqueness than a Skyline, because not an awful lot of these 260 RSs exist. Okay, so this is a year 2000 Stagea Autech version 260 RS. And then here it's like they're talking about the front end conversion. That's not the official name of it. They never made one that looks like this from the factory. So R34 Gtr face on it. Timing belt has been changed in 2017 at 98,685 kilometers, along with the water pump. It has Dolphin 300 kilometer an hour gauge set in it, and so the mileage is unknown. It says 102,972, but mileage is unknown. Typically, I would shy away from a GTR or like the RB26 engine with unknown mileage, but it could be a good condition car. You'd really have to take a look at it, and so something like this would be quite a bit more risky than your typical buy from the auction. Auction grade is R with an interior B grade and an exterior grade of C. It has a Greddy large front mount intercooler. You can see that right in the picture there. What is this? Surge tank, piping, etc., oil cooler, aftermarket turbo, twin plate clutch, and various other modifications. So it sounds like a lot of fun in this car. The upgraded turbo and the intercooler and all the other parts should bump the power up. They don't say exactly what turbo it is, so we don't have an estimate of what power that this car should have. Maybe somewhere in the 350 to 400 horsepower range. Maybe. Like the stock engine is somewhere around 280 to 300. Lots of big dents on the roof, maybe from roof racks, maybe not. Maybe somebody just likes sitting on their roof. Cracked front bumper here and some rust in the back fenders. So it needs a little bit of work, but the 260 RSs sell for a lot and they have value, and so it's worth putting the money in to fix it up. Whether you were trying to sell this one or if you were looking for a vehicle for yourself. Okay, in terms of damage here, looks like a corrosion hole. Yikes. Okay, so aftermarket hood, fenders, and suspension. Aftermarket wheels with tires. This one was sent in by Flor Clarice, and Flor says 260 RS with R34 front, although the wheels don't fit the arches. That is super true. Those need to be spaced out like an extra 3 centimeters each. And I don't really care for the wheels either. I think if I were to buy this car and sell it for inventory, those wheels would go. Okay, winter tires on there. Right front inner panel has a corrosion hole that is large. Ooh, this car is looking less appealing. Underside painted and has various corrosion. Core support replaced. Right front inner panel bent. Exterior has various dents in it. Floor and floor member have holes in them. A pushed up area, a bent area, and corrosion holes. That one's especially bad. Interior has modification holes and ripped. Seat saggy, steering wheel wear. Console and shift panel area. Console shift knob area panel cracked. So, condition's not good, but the looks are pretty awesome. And it is still a 260 RS, and so it has the engine, which gives it value just by itself. Somebody might just throw out the body and keep the engine and keep a bunch of other parts, part it out, sell it, that sort of thing. Although I think that likely, and this is unfortunate, probably it's going to be bought from an exporter who is going to hide the rust and then sell it to somebody unknowingly, because this is the perfect vehicle for that sort of thing, because this will sell for pretty cheaply at auction compared to one that's in good condition, and so that means juicy markup for those bad guys. And so this one, I'm going to guess a sales price of this at 550,000 yen. We'll go on to the next one from Ioanni Esparza. Sent in this. Now this one's been cancelled. That's what this sign here means. And if you ever see 7777777 here, that means that it's cancelled as well. This is a car that I didn't know existed. It's called a Plymouth Satellite, apparently. Now everybody knows that I don't know my American cars, and shame on me for not knowing American cars very well. But it seems to be a badge engineered version of a Challenger, because it looks like a Challenger to me. And so maybe Plymouth made a version of the Challenger that they called the Satellite, which is pretty cool. I kind of think that having the rarer of the two versions of a car makes it a little bit special. Looks like it's been repainted. The interior looks like it's in great shape, but unfortunately was cancelled, and so we won't be able to guess a price on this one. Plus, if I did guess a price on this one, I would be super wrong, because I have no idea what these are worth. I don't even want to say how much I would have guessed. I would have gotten it wrong big time. And so I know that these have a lot of value compared to other muscle cars, and this one seems to be in good condition, and so I would expect it to sell for a pretty high price. On to the next one from Bill Courtney. Bill sent in a pretty interesting one. This one's from Zip Osaka, and this one is a Porsche 928 S4. That's not so special, but it says here Koenig, which I don't think is the proper pronunciation. That's just how it looks like it would be read. In Japanese, they call it Kenihi, is the pronunciation that they call it. So maybe that's how maybe that's closer to the German pronunciation. This is the same company that makes the seats in my Golf R32, and so it is kind of cool. They do complete cars, and then they also work with manufacturers, mostly, I think, exclusively German manufacturers. And then the 928 is kind of an ugly child of a car, but with the wide body on here, it's uglier but better in a way. And I think that a lot of people would not like the looks of this, but I think that it is amazing looking. and I would like to have one of these in my garage with a bunch of other cars. Bill says, check out the deep dish meats in the back. And they are deep and meaty, as he said. They are a BBS wheel, and I believe, because I've never seen BBS wheels with that much dish, I believe that these would be custom made for Koenig or Koenig, or however the heck you pronounce that, specifically for this model. And so I bet those wheels will be worth a lot of money, because I can't see them making too many of these, because typically they would charge a lot of money for these over the standard cost, and the 928 was never a cheap car. Okay, it's a 1990 year S4 Koenig edition. 116,591 kilometers, which is rather high for this style of car. This ultra modified German car vehicles, they typically were really expensive cars back in the day, especially here in Japan, which ate them all up. The Japanese market loved vehicles like this. And usually a car like that wouldn't get driven very much here. It would be kind of like a special outing car. Auction grade R, 5000cc front engine, interior B. And what do we have here? Color changed car. That's a little bit weird. Maybe Koenig color changed it themselves. I couldn't see somebody repainting this in a different color, but I could be wrong about that. Exterior has some paint wave. Automatic transmission makes some sounds. That doesn't worry me too much. If you need to swap an automatic transmission, I mean, it does cost money, but for a car like this, it would be a small price to pay, I think. AC doesn't work. Rear hatch damper doesn't work. Over fender modifications on it. Diff lamp is on. That's weird. I don't know enough about that. That's something that you would want to check with the Google in order to find out what the heck that means and if it is a problem for this car. Oil leaked, front frame and front inner panel dented because it's been in an accident. Could you imagine getting into an accident in this and then taking it to a body shop and saying, I got in an accident, please fix this? Because everything would have to be custom remade. You wouldn't be able to get these fenders off the shelf. So hope they are good with fiberglass. And what do we have here? Aftermarket exhaust, shift knob, and steering wheel. And then the body looks to be pretty good. Seems like it's not a super big accident, so I wouldn't be too worried about the accident on this one. And it is a pretty awesome looking car. As far as value, this is one I'm going to be incorrect about, I imagine. But I'm going to guess that somebody's willing to pick this one up for about 1.8 million yen. That steering wheel is terrible. Oh, that has to go. I'm not a fan of flat-bottom steering wheels, but in a car like this, I don't think it matches at all. Okay, on to the next one from Mitch Kawi. Mitch sent in this one. No, he didn't. Yoani Esbarza sent in this one. And then you accidentally got two, because I wasn't paying attention today. Congratulations on beating the system. Okay, I remember Andrew showed this to me yesterday, because he's like, try getting that on a vessel. Because it's so low and so far out here, you're going to have to either take that bumper off or jack up the suspension. It is super low. And then somebody else sent it in for a translation. I don't think anyone's going to buy this of our customers because it is kind of dumb looking. Usually I don't mind body kits, even extreme body kits, but together with the paint, I don't think that it's a good match. I think it would be a good vehicle for, like, if you were drifting and you wanted to catch people's attention while you're drifting. But as a street car, I think it would be too much for me. But what do I know? I'm becoming an old man. Especially the side skirts here and the front bumper. Yikes. Okay, so it's a 1994 180 SX Type X, 2000cc. That's the SR20 turbo engine. 106,730 kilometers seems pretty reasonable. Auction grade R, SR20 turbo, Type X 5-speed. Moon roof on it. Driver's bucket seat. So we got an interior picture. Oh, my least favorite kind of seat to sit in. Unless I'm racing, of course, but I don't do that very often. What else we got? Aftermarket exhaust, wheels, suspension, aftermarket fenders. Really? I didn't notice that. Oh, yeah. I guess the paint job kind of takes all of your attention away from everything else. Front mount tower bar, aftermarket aero, GT wing, aftermarket air filter, Defi, pillar gauges, boost, and water temp. Aftermarket tail lights, aftermarket steering wheel, and shift knob. And then condition looks to be pretty good, except for the accident. It has been, color changed to white. So originally not a white car. And the seller doesn't say what color it was. But you can go into here and put the VIN number in, and it'll tell you what the original paint code was, so you can say see before you buy, if you're interested. Okay, so steering wheel wear, seat wear, audio has been removed, wheels scratched, aero parts scratched and cracked, no doubt because they are super low. Door mirrors scratched, windshield rock chip, interior dirty, scratched and rip. Trunk floor and end panel dented, front inner panel and core support dented. So it looks like it's been in a front and rear accident, but fairly mild. Dashboard cracked, as is always the case in these. Seat ripped, that's also pretty common. And what is this? Wheels front and back are different. And dented. Don't like the wheel choice either. I guess the black ones are okay. These ones on the back, I'm not really caring for them too much. But the fact that they don't match, I don't like that look. And the aftermarket taillights, also don't like that. So here's a lot of hate being thrown at this car from me. I'm sorry for everyone who doesn't like hate so much. There are good things about the car, and if you like this thing, there's nothing wrong with you. You just have different tastes than me. That's my disclaimer. I hope nobody's angry with me. As far as price, 94, 106. The looks of it are going to take away from the price, I believe. I don't think that anyone's going to look at that and say, I want that over any of the other 180s. So 620,000 yen is my pick. Now it's Mitch's turn. So Mitch Cowie, you are next up to bat, and you said this RS4 is mint, pun intended. And so I always like a good pun, so thank you for sending that pun to me. You can't see it, but I'm smiling on the camera at the moment. And so this is another one that is going through auction today. Auction time is at 2:58, so we still have lots of time. So the RS4 is a big time loved car by me. I've always loved the Audi station wagons that are fast. There's the RS2 that was co-built with Porsche, and that is amazing. 300 horsepower four-wheel drive back in the late 80s, early 90s. That's insane. And then this one here is the current generation of the RS4. And I saw one probably about 8 months ago or 10 months ago or so when it was a brand new car. And I didn't know that this car had come out yet. And I saw the box fenders. You can barely see it on here. But this car has box fenders, which they haven't done in a really long time. Any manufacturer, really. Except for Subaru, I guess, does it. But I really like the look of that. And I think that it's really good to have your RS4 looking just a little bit more special than the regular version of the A4 or the S4. The color, I don't really care for it, but it does stand out a lot, and I think that's cool. I think the wheels look great. Sunroof, yes. And should be in pretty good condition. It has just 34,000 kilometers on it. 33,695. It's a 2014 Audi RS4 Avant. Auction grade 4.5, interior A, exterior B, 4200cc engine in it. One owner, panorama sunroof, first time at auction. MM1 Navi, reverse camera with digital TV tuner back. Bank and Olaf Sun audio. Okay. What else do we have? Anything interesting? Nothing really. Seat heaters. It has a crack in the front bumper, which is a shame for a car that's otherwise in pretty good condition. A couple of door dents over here. They're U1s, so they should be mild. And then here there's nothing. 4.5 interior A, exterior B. Yeah, that seems about right. Trunk assist. I think it's really annoying when they write stuff like that. This car has trunk assist, which is an option that not an option. It's on every single one of them. It just takes up more of Derek's time when he's translating. Side assist. What's this? Brake hold. Brake hold. No idea. I guess it holds you on a hill, maybe? Hill assist? Kind of weird. I don't like stuff like that. I like to roll down a little bit on the hills just because it feels more natural. And flat bottom steering wheel. Ugh. Why do you do that? It is uncomfortable for me when I touch that part. I don't like it. And it doesn't really help you that much getting in and out of the car. At least not for me. I have chicken legs. Okay, price for this one is going to be wrong. Starts at 3.7. I guess I'll guess 4.6. 4.6 million yen. Okay, Redneck Hunter sent in the next one here. I picked this one because we came close to considering this for a stock vehicle. It's not as good as the stock vehicle I would like to get, but I just think that it looks so awesome in this color. And then Redneck Hunter hit the nail on the head here by calling it an antelope over white is his name of the color of this vehicle. I think that's awesome. One of the reasons I didn't go for this one, though, is because this is a two-wheel drive Delica. It is a diesel, but a two-wheel drive Delica is usually harder to sell. In fact, I didn't even know that they made them with the skylight roof and the projector headlights and this grille piece with the two-wheel drive. So it is kind of neat, but it has big rust on the roof, and I don't want to have to address something like that before I sell a car for inventory. I would rather just pick up a better conditioned car. But I could see this going to the USA. I could see it as a pretty profitable sale if you were going to bring this one in, especially with that color. I love the look of it. Skylight roof on it. It's good. It looks to be pretty clean and in pretty good condition too. But look at the pictures, and it's the captain's chairs version instead of the bench version. 195.99 kilometers, 2.5 liter turbo diesel, crystal light roof, wheels, aftermarket wheels, and then condition here, aftermarket steering wheel and exhaust. And I love the way that the exhaust dangles down there, ready to hit things. End panel dented, so that's underneath the bumper here, probably backed into something. Winter tires on it, wheels scratched. Right side has been repainted. Body scratches and dents and clear coat scratches, and then peeling paint on the back, peeling paint on the front. So condition is pretty good aside from the rust on the top, and I like it. I still do like it very much, but I'm not going to bid on it. As far as price, I think we'll see this one around 200,000 yen, because it's not the four-wheel drive, which would normally sell for a lot more. Oh, and look, it comes with a hot and cold box. This is a little box that you can put your drinks in. Probably, like, it has, like, refrigerant in it, and you can make ice in it, so it's not just the AC that's piping through it. It's its own refrigerant system. It is cool. Super cool. Okay, on to the next one. We got Raymond Yu sent in this one. It's the car that everybody wants, but nobody wants to spend enough to buy one these days. The price has gone up like 50% over the last 3 years, so I guess it would be a good car to buy, like in terms of buying a car that's not going to depreciate in value. But I don't think that it's worth the price that they're selling for. I think that the style is what brings in the high price. Sort of like the AE86 does that. I don't think that it's worth the price that it goes for either. A lot of these are in kind of rough condition. They were kind of cheap high-performance cars for a while until the price went up drastically. And then these days, especially in 1993, that's going to be importable to the USA, is worth a lot more. It would be a good car if you lived in Japan to buy and to drive around until it's legal in October. This 5 means 1993, so it will be legal for import in October. And then sell it in October and make the nice markup there. 107,967 kilometers, 6-speed manual transmission. This is an early model, so that's not the Getrag. Getrag came in 1997. Twin turbo engine, RZ, that's what that means. And then the RZ has the nice big brakes instead of the RZS, which has the mincy little ones. Auction grade RA because it has been in a mild accident. It has some paint peeling here. Uneven paint over here. I've translated this for somebody actually. Recaro seat. The original seats I really don't like in this car. And I don't like the short shifter. And I don't like how the dashboard always deforms. You can see it's deformed here, and here, and here, and up here. You can see all of those in the picture. And then the steering wheel is too small for the car. It looks a little bit weird, and I don't like the fake carbon fiber wrap on it. And then the dashboard famously looks like somebody grabbed a whole bunch of gauges and switches and dials and just threw them on the dashboard, and wherever they landed, that's where they decided to put them. It doesn't seem to have much of a rhyme or reason, even though a lot of people call this the driver-centric dashboard. because it's tilted towards the driver and the passenger doesn't get to press the buttons as easily, I guess. And the buttons here, I don't like the feeling of them. I must be in a bad mood today because I'm being so hard on the cars. I'm sorry again. I'm very sorry. Okay, so Recaro seat, toll collection box, Cusco tower bar, aftermarket 18-inch wheels. I do think an 18-inch wheel looks good on this car. Those wheels look a little bit weird to me. I mean, the style is cool. They would, I think, look really good in white or a shinier color than that. They look kind of old, kind of destroyed. Aftermarket exhaust, suspension that's adjustable. Aftermarket Navi, HID headlights, and then condition here. Left front inner panel dented. Auto spoiler doesn't work. Yes, it has a spoiler on the front that drops down at speed, or you can do it yourself by pressing the button. It's a very cool thing from the 80s and early 90s in Japan. After the early 90s, not many cars had them. The Supra was one of the cars that did. And I think I've only seen like one or two that still has it functional, because it wasn't on all of them. It was an option. Okay, AC doesn't work. Aftermarket extra gauges, like boost gauge kind of thing. Dashboard is deformed. Aftermarket steering wheel. Core support is dented. Oil leak. Rear wiper removed. Oil leak on the 2J is a common thing. Shift area is cracked. And then the body, not bad other than the peeling paint and the various scratches and dents. Ooh, back has A4. That's pretty big. Big scratches. And on this side skirt. Okay, these always sell for more than I think I would be willing to pay for them, especially since I got to see when you could get one in this condition for 1,000,000 yen. I think this one we're looking at about 2.6 million now. Okay, and we got two more here. Dustin Cardadiro. I think that's your first time sending this one in. Wait. Elijah McDonald, not Dustin. Your turn's next. I'm skipping ahead too much. This is a Porsche 911 GT2. I think it's good to add these ones to the videos because a lot of people don't realize that high-end Porsches like this one you can get very easily and in really good condition from Japan. This one has pretty high mileage for a GT2, 70,000. And then the GT2 is the fastest 911 during the 996 generation, but not necessarily the highest value one. I think that goes to the GT3, which I guess is arguably faster. I don't know, it's hard to say. The difference is the GT3 is a rear-wheel drive with a naturally aspirated engine that is very high performance, and the car is very quick on the track. And then the GT2 is four-wheel drive with turbo, has more horsepower, but would be a little bit slower on the track, probably because of the extra weight. And so, yeah, the GT2 is cool. I think it would make a better street car than the GT3 because it doesn't have, the interior is more civilian. It's more made for somebody who wants a fast street 911. A lot of people don't like the 996, but I think that that's going to change as they become more accessible. A lot of them were made, and prices are pretty decent on these compared to the air-cooled Porsches. I hear that this generation had some problems with engines, but I don't know enough of that, so if you are looking to buy one of these for yourself, you probably want to look into that. But do give what you read on the internet a chance to be wrong. A lot of people say wrong things on the internet, and so just double check. And I'm one of those people who say wrong things, unintentionally, of course. But I think that's the case with most people. They hear something and then they repeat it, and you never know like if the source that you heard it from is trusted or not. And so, yeah. So 19-inch wheels, GT2 version. It has aero parts on it. I think these are the stock GT2 aero parts, but I don't really know for certain. 6-pot brake calipers. I guess that was an option on this. What else do we have? iMech tuning. Exhaust manifold, turbo, and computer. Bilstein suspension. So it's going to be faster than your regular GT2. A stock condition GT2 will be worth more than one that has been modified, but a modified one sounds like it's going to be a lot of fun. Especially one that is modified well, because you see a lot of like Silvias and Skylines that are modified poorly, so they make them worse cars to actually drive, even though I got 700 horsepower, but it's just not a good car to drive anymore. And so if it's modified well, you should be able to daily drive it or drive it to the same extent as the non-modified one without any compromises, or with as few compromises as you can get. Okay, condition. Front area has rock chips from driving 350 kilometers an hour probably. What is this? Aftermarket engine hood and seat wrinkles. And what does this say? Navi. The writing's very small, hard to read. Something about the Navi. Body looks to be fairly good, a little bit lower than your average one for a car that is this special, but still in quite good condition. High mileage. Starting price 2.8. 4.4 million. Maybe. Maybe. Okay, Dustin Cardadiro, it is now your turn. Now we have two more left. This is an RX-7. I wanted to pick this one out specifically because Dustin said extremely low miles FD, but you do have to be very careful to look for the star next to here. That means the mileage is unknown, and so it is, instead of extremely low mileage, it is extremely unknown mileage. And that's a bad thing on the RX-7s because these tend to wear out faster than your typical cars. Here they have some notes on it. So aftermarket gauge set was swapped in 2007. This car was at auction with 104,258 kilometers, but that was after the gauges have already been changed because there's a $sign here, and that means the gauges were changed and they have a history paper to prove it. And then in 2016, June 24th, at the dealer, at 16,932 kilometers, the gauges were changed. But that 6932, we don't know how much the mileage actually is. And so this is a big question mark for this car, but we know that it's at least 104 plus 16 plus 18. Okay, aftermarket wheels, Tain suspension. What else? Fully adjustable, so that's dampening and height and spring rate. And comes with the EDFC. What that is electronic control box that you can use to change the dampening without going and clicking the things yourself. It's kind of a useless thing to have because changing the dampening is not really that useful on any car. If you want to have the highest performing car, for every spring rate there's an optimal dampening level. And because you're not changing spring rates, you're not really changing the harshness of the ride that much by changing the dampening. And so it is kind of a weird thing that they have a driver's controllable box. I think it's more like we know people will pay for this, and so we'll sell a product that's kind of useless. Original suspension comes with the car if you want. Peeling paint on the roof. Some rust over here, just a little bit, and a dented section. Paint. Can I speak today? Paint cracks on the rear bumper and scuffs on the front bumper. Seat has a cigarette burn and a rip. Aftermarket gauges, so the mileage is unknown. That one says extra gauges up here. Right rear fender and sidestep one part replaced. Fender edges bent like ruled fenders. Full repaint of the car. Is this original white? Yes, it is. So it's the original color, but it's been repainted the original color, which I don't mind too much, but if it's a color change car, I almost certainly don't buy those unless I have to buy the car, like it's super special or something. Auction rate 3.5, interior C, exterior C. And it's a 95, so I think that we'll see this one go for about 700,000 yen. And that's less than you can get them for the ones that are legal for the US because the price bumps up a lot. Had this one been a 93 that's importable to the US, I would think it'll be around 950. Okay, and the final one here from Raymond Liang sent in this. It is a Daihatsu Copen. It is the second generation Copen, and it's an open-top convertible K car. I believe the only one that is on the market at the moment. Oh, except for the Honda S660, but that's, I guess, a little bit different because it's more of a Targa because it has the back section that doesn't go down. But anyways, this is a front-wheel drive K car, so the 660cc engine in it. NK wheels, that's pretty cool. Get that interior. I have never been in one of these, first generation or second generation. This one has, is that a 5-speed manual? Awesome. I don't like the looks of them, especially in person. They look really narrow compared to how tall the waistline is, and so I think it looks really goofy. I think the styling is okay, but just the proportions are weird. It looks like if this car were 2 feet longer and 1 foot wider, it would be a proper looking car. It's sort of like a machine came and squished it in the side and squished it in the front, and then all of that excess room just popped up. So 11,310 kilometers. This is a 2016 Copen Rove? Low B? That doesn't make sense. Rove. Auction grade 5, interior exterior A, 1 owner car. Comes with NK 16-inch wheels and Fujitsu Bow exhaust and electric open top. It's a hardtop electric open, and I don't think there are any other K cars, past or present, that have the hardtop convertible, other than the Copen. Sort of SLK style. Okay, what is this? Push start engine. Comes with some history and aftermarket suspension. Everything, really no comments here to talk about. Seat wear, interior dirty and scratched. Body is perfect. So it looks like a great car, and for that it's probably going to sell for a lot. I think that these are around 1.8 million, which is super expensive for a K car when they're new. This one's in good condition, but depreciation is pretty high, I would imagine, for the first few years, and so I'm going to say like 1.2 million for this one. And there we have it. That's all the cars that we looked at. This one, 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 this one. Lots of fun cars at Japanese auctions, so be sure to be here next week to check to see what cars that we have up next week. So thank you very much for listening to us, and have a nice day.